Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Empire. I am your host, Unknown Emperor. And yesterday we had AEW Dynamite, and I'm here to bring you the review, let you know whether I liked it or didn't like it. You let me know whether you liked it and didn't like it. I give my personal opinion, and then we just go from there. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. The opening segment of AEW, it started off with a hobbled Hangman Adam Page making his way to the ring. I don't know if you saw it last week, but last week he landed kind of awkwardly on his ankle, giving off the impression that it got hurt. And it started off this week with basically he came down to the ring on crutches. Boom, came out. He stated that how he wanted it to be a single match, or he wanted it to be a singles match. And unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to fulfill that. But as soon as he was getting into his dialogue, next thing you know is we heard whose house? And your man Swer Strickland came to the ring, followed by Prince Nana. I know this is my first review on AEW, but if you saw my podcast, you're gonna know that Swer Strickland is one of my top wrestlers right now. He is amazing. He is growing on me. He is one of the backbones of AEW, and he is just gonna continue to become better and better and better. I can't wait for me to get me a Swer Strickland hoodie. Pressure he applies, he is great, and he's going to continue to be great. I see him being the first black AEW, or first African-American AEW heavyweight champion. He made it to the ring. He first acknowledged that him and Hangman Adam Page has both tried to commit murder on each other. Live on television, he said, hey, we both committed murder. We both tried to commit murder, but it was only because we respected each other. And he basically said that Hangman Adam Page's faith was him hurting his ankle, but Swerve's destiny is gonna be winning the championship. And whenever he said championship, that brought out the actual champion in Samoa Joe, and Joe is great. He came out like a badass. I believed everything that he said. And he just made a long story short. He came out, he did his ditty. He said that no matter who he has to face, whether it's gonna be Swerve and Hangman, whether it's just Swerve or Hangman, he's gonna beat both their asses. And I believe it, because Joe is one of those people that I just believe everything that he says. And he dropped the mic. But when he dropped the mic, Swerve instantly picked his up and was like, hey, let me remind you who I am. And he went down everything that he went through. He even brought up Joe being on commentary wearing a poncho. I want to say he was doing that in WWE, like on the tail end before they released him. But he got his blowback on that one. And then the segment ended with Hangman Adam Page blasting Swerve in the back with his crutch, just letting us know that he was 100%. He was just BSing us, and that is gonna be a triple threat. All of them proclaimed that they were gonna win. Obviously, somebody lied, but I love this segment because I personally like 2 of the 3 wrestlers. I used to like Hangman, but right now he's in his hating stage to where he's hating on Swerve. Granted, Swerve did break into his house and stand over his newborn baby. That was one of the crimes that was committed that Swerve alluded to. But great opening segment to AEW. Then that led us into our EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, aka the Young Bucks, arriving to what seems to be the first of many skits for the night. They came in, they were met by Renee. Renee asked them, hey, how's everything going? And essentially they were just looking for Sting, and they were being right-wing dicks. And they also brought up, Renee also brought up the fact that they had a talk with Ric Flair. They said everything was good. They were halfway right. It was, like I said, it was a night-long story skit with the EVPs, but we're gonna figure out more about it in the main event. They weren't necessarily happy whenever they found Sting, just to let you know. just to let you know. The first proper match that we got on this night of AEW was a 6-man tag match. The 6-man tag match included the Blackpool Combat Club, which has Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro in WWE, Bryan Danielson, the former Daniel Bryan from WWE, and Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, for everybody who watches WWE. They were the 3 that made up the Blackpool Combat Club. Then we had everybody on the other end was Eddie Kingston, FTR, who is Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. If you look at them, they're the revival from WWE. So there's a couple of former WWE people for, my viewers who are familiar with WWE and not familiar with AEW. But if you want to get familiar with AEW, please, please, please watch Dynamite or watch my reviews. If you don't want to watch it yourself, just let me do the reviews for you. But this match got started very proper with quick tags in and out, just basically showing the different variations of the match that we're gonna get the matches that we're gonna get for the pay-per-view this Sunday. And everything kind of broke loose pretty early. I would bet my life that this match was gonna be good based off of everybody that was in it. Luckily, I don't have to, but I would put it up there, and I most definitely would have kept it because this match was everything that I was thinking it was gonna be and more. It started off with Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston, but they're gonna fight this Sunday. So Danielson was playing mind games. He instantly tagged in Claudio, and then everything got started very proper. It was breakups. It was hell breaking loose. It started off with Dax breaking up a figure 4 that Moxley had on Cash. And just to be a even dickhead, anything you can do, we can do better. Claudio came in and just kicked him just for the fun of it. It was really nice. Bryan Danielson, broke up a pin by kicking Dax square in the face and then essentially laughing at it. And then everything kind of kicked off when Bryan Danielson got into a chop battle with Eddie Kingston, and Eddie was just eating it. He overpowered Bryan Danielson. Claudio came in, he threw Claudio over the rope, and then him and Jon Moxley just got into a punching contest. Like, I'm gonna punch you in the face, you punch me in the face, let's see who can punch each other harder. And Eddie got the better of him, but it didn't last long because the Blackpool Combat Club, or the BCC, got in and they basically jumped him. They basically jumped him 3-on-1, and Eddie got worked. Eddie got worked. And then Dax had to jump in head first to break up a pin. Everything was kind of high moving, high fast. It was really fast paced and expect exactly what you would expect from this match. We even got a chokehold in stereos. The Blackpool Combat Club was all holding a chokehold on FTR and Eddie Kingston, but then they got their get back when FTR and Eddie Kingston was doing a stereo chop. So everybody, the BCC was in the corner and everybody was doing chops. Everything kind of worked really fast paced to the point to where it was only Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston left in the ring. He hit him with the flying knee. He could have got the 1-2-3, but instead he decided to further disrespect Eddie Kingston. He stomped him in the head a couple of times and then put him in the chokehold, choked him out, left him bleeding in the ring. He was essentially out of there, and he held the hold for extra emphasis, just to show you that, hey, this man ain't really messing with me. And I love this match. If you were to watch any of the matches, I would say you were to watch this one. Get this one into your watch. Like, if you have a few minutes, add this one to your watch list, even if you weren't planning on watching it. Next, we got a little history on the CMLL, and we got a little bit of Chris Jericho. He's gonna fight Atlantis Jr., who is the son of one of Chris Jericho's trainers whenever he was in CMLL 30 years ago. They did a little video package for that, which was great and very informational. So it kind of let me know how everything was, and it kind of gave me a background about what to be looking forward to whenever they did really lock horns later on. In no way, shape, form, or fashion that I think Chris Jericho is gonna lose, but you know, you never know. And then that brought us to Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he officially introduced the newest member to All Elite Wrestling, which is Will Ospreay. Again, if you don't know who Will Ospreay is, he is amazing. And then he also went down the list of everything that he's done for matches to where you can go back and look. He beat Orange Cassidy in the middle of the ring. He beat Kenny Omega in the middle of the ring. He went to Wembley Stadium and he beat Chris Jericho in the middle of that ring. Will Ospreay is great. He is amazing. And this Sunday he faced Takeshita. He went down the line. He thanked the Don Callis family just a little bit. And as soon as he mentioned Don Callis and his family, they came out. You can see the look on Will's face as Don was talking. He said a bunch of nothing, really. So, and you know, every time he spoke, he got booed out of this world. But the segment was really just to let you know kind of that Will Ospreay is in a league of his own, and the Don Callis family is by his side, but I don't see them staying there for long because of the look that was on Will Ospreay's face and kind of just like the underlying tone of who Don Callis is as a person. So, quick segment, I appreciated the segment for what it was. It kind of got us ready for the match that they were gonna have. Then we was able to work our way to the back. Renee was interviewing Eddie Kingston when the EVPs came in. The second part of their Looking for Sting segment. They also made fun of Eddie's weight and how they might need to implement a dress code. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson are just a bunch of asshats, but I love every second of their character. Some people don't, but I do appreciate their characters for what they are and what they provide to. Orange Cassidy was fighting Nick Wayne next in an international championship match. It was an open challenge. And Nick Wayne is an 18-year-old. He is a part of Christian's Cage staple. There's a match advertised this Sunday for Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. So in no way, shape, form, or fashion did I believe Nick Wayne was going to win this match in any stretch of the imagination. But he did get a lot of good offense in. He got a couple of moonsaults in. He got a couple of dives in. He was able to get a lot of offense in for Orange Cassidy. But if you know Orange Cassidy, that's essentially the gimmick. He gives up a lot of, he sells a lot for the opponent. They get a lot on him. They get a lot of offense in, but he takes it. He keeps going, I guess, because he's a piece of fruit. You know, Orange, you know, they probably don't take a lot of damage, this, that, and the third, you know, cartoon strength. But he took a lot of damage, and it was all for not mostly for Nick Wayne. Christian Cage and the Patriarchy did get involved a little bit, but the referee that they had for this match was pretty intelligent and instantly got them kicked from the ring. Orange Cassidy did a flying crossbody from off the top rope for a near fall, and then he did one orange punch to no avail. It got turned into a fisherman suplex. He tried another orange punch to no avail. It got turned into a German suplex, which prompted the United Kingdom to come out and basically do a mini distraction, but they were met by the best friends. They were on Orange Cassidy's side to kind of even the odds a little bit. Nick Wayne turned his attention to the turnbuckle and was trying to get that ripped off, but Daniel Garcia danced his way He danced his way to the ring a little bit. He really walked. But, you know, whenever a wrestler is on the side of the ring, they always non-distract. is gonna pop his head up later on, but it was essentially a distraction finish. Nick Wayne turned his attention to Daniel Garcia. He turned around. He didn't see the third attempt for the orange punch. He got knocked out. He didn't see the pin either because he got knocked out. 1, 2, 3, Orange Cassidy retains the international championship. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get so better. Don't beat me up. He retained the international championship, but immediately was met by Roderick Strong. He attacked him from behind just to let him know, like, hey, I'm looking, I'm right here by you. And my personal opinion, I feel as though that Roderick Strong has no choice but to win that title Sunday. Their group needs titles. They need wins. And Orange Cassidy has been champion for a long time. I know he kind of dropped it and got it back, but it's now the point to where he can lose it and go to do better things, but the United Kingdom kind of needs something to hold them together. Next was the Bang Bang Sicker Gang. They was in the back, and they was just basically telling you that they are a cohesive unit and that they're going to be stronger than ever. They're not going to last too much longer. I think in a couple of months' time, they're going to break up and combine the trios championships that they have, but it wasn't nothing too much. Next match, we had Sky Blue taking on Chris Statlander. Me personally, Sky Blue and Julia Hart. Julia Hart accompanied Sky Blue to the ring. Those are two beautiful women. They are beautiful, gorgeous. Oh my goodness, they are precious, and I love watching them wrestle. I love it. Sky Blue just keeps getting better every week that she wrestles, and Julia Hart is the TBS champion, but just her demeanor, how she just stands there, it's just But Chris Statlander is nothing to sneeze at. She is the former TBS champion, and fresh out the gate, she was overpowering Sky Blue, tossing her around the ring, and every chance she got, she was flexing her muscles to show her, like, hey, I'm big girl, you little girl, or I'm big woman, you little woman, and this is what it's gonna be. This is what it's gonna be. She got a lot of offense in, and it was pretty good, running pretty smooth until we kind of worked our way into our second distraction finish. Chris Statlander was accompanied by the ring by Willow Nightingale and Stokely Hathaway. She had just hit one of her strong moves, and she was on the ropes, kind of panting like she don't know what to do. Stokely Hathaway gave her a chain. She seemed extremely distraught by this. I think 1 week she's gonna take the chain and might turn heel a little bit, but Stokely distracted her kind of, and distracted the referee because the referee was over there dealing with Stokely. Julia Hart made it her way into the ring, hit Chris Statlander with the TBS championship. Sky Blue hit Chris with the Cold Blue. 1, 2, 3. Sky Blue wins, and she is now up 2-1 on Chris Statlander. And now we just need to know where they're gonna go from here. Chris isn't gonna fight for the TBS championship, so we're gonna need to figure out what she's gonna do. Sky Blue got this dub, but we don't know what's next for her. So we just need to continue and see how the story is gonna pan out. We have one of our last segments before the main event of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Now, and they walked into a room with a bunch of black bats hanging up. Out of context, it seems kind of weird that they were so afraid by all the bats that was hanging up. And I mean like bats, not flying echo sensor bats. I mean baseball bats, like Sting black bats. Sting the Icon, the wrestler, his bats was hanging up in the room, and out of context is weird, but in context, it was probably very frightening to walk into a room with a lot of bats hanging in. Even out of context, that'd be kind of frightening because I'm confused about why something like that would be taking place. But it was smooth for what it was. I appreciate the segment. It was just like a throwaway segment before they kind of got everything took care of. And then we got essentially a main event match, because this was the last match of the night, and it was Chris Jericho taking on Atlantis. Atlantis started off pretty green in it. You can tell that he was very happy and very emotional, and everything was kind of like a lot of eyes was on him because it took him a little minute to settle in. But again, with the theme of AEW tonight, Atlantis Jr., he got a lot of offense in tonight. He showcased really what he had to offer, and I'm pretty sure he showcased everything that he would do and that he does in CMLL. But like I said earlier, I didn't see him beating Chris Jericho. He got a lot of offense in. He did a lot of dives. Chris Jericho was playing kind of the heel, attempting to take his mask off, talking reckless to Pops that was on the outside of the ring. But it was all disrespect. Everything kind of culminated when Chris Jericho went for the walls of Jericho, and Junior couldn't get out of it, so Senior threw in the towel, and that was the end of the match. I kind of breezed through that match because it was, like I said, it was high paced, it was high flying, and Atlantis got a lot of offense in, but it essentially ended abruptly whenever he went for the walls of Jericho and the towel got thrown in. So it was a nice match for what it was. I would give it a good review as far as like it was nice. It went with the flow of it. This isn't one of the matches that I would tell you to go back and watch. But I wasn't against it, so I'm not giving it a bad rating or anything of that nature. But I appreciate it. They kind of hugged it out after and went about their business. Then that led us into our main event. This week's AEW went by pretty fast. I know it kind of seemed like I breezed by it, but it was just basically the go home show to set up the pay-per-view for this Sunday. And then the ending segment was Matthew and Nicholas Jackson coming out. They were making their way to the ring. They saw a bunch of Sting fans in the crowd. They started antagonizing them, pushing them. One of them was Darby Allin. Darby Allin jumped out the crowd, but he didn't do his wrestling math. It was 2 against 1. They jumped him, beat him up, hit him with the bat, hit him with the EVP trigger. Boom. Ric Flair music hit. That was my face. Ric Flair, like, this man is 70 years old. Why are you coming out here? He made his way very slowly to the ring, made it look like he was aligning with the Young Bucks, but he poked him in the eye or the throat, and then he poked Matthew in the eye or the throat, and then he hit Nicholas, or vice versa. But they hit him with a low blow. They stomped him a couple times. His old ass, golly, I do not like Ric Flair, at least right now. Like, oh my goodness. Do not have him wrestle. Do not have him do anything. I do not appreciate Ric Flair getting involved in this. Like, he just needs to stay on the sideline. But then Sting's music hit. The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas, made their way to the entranceway to try to kind of block them off. But this motherfucker Sting came down like he was god darn Spider-Man. He came down, swung down, and then they had this big Jedi bat lightsaber match where they were swinging bats. It was 2 against 1, but Sting's bat was more powerful than the Young Bucks bat, and they got the upper hand. Then Darby Allin got revitalized. He hit a coffin drop off the top rope onto the Young Bucks. They threw Nicholas in. He got hit with the scorpion drop. And then AEW kind of ended with Sting, Darby Allin, and Ric Flair standing tall. I honestly couldn't tell you how this pay-per-view was going to go. The pay-per-view match that I'm referring to is Sting and Darby Allin, who are your AEW Tag Team Champions, fighting the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, in a Tag Team Championship match. But this is Sting's last match. I don't know how this is going to go, but I do tell you that is gonna be a nice match. I don't care how old Sting is. It is gonna be a great match because the Young Bucks are one of the best tag teams to ever walk the face of the earth. Me, per se, I appreciated this episode of AEW. And like I said, I know I breezed by it a little bit. I'm trying to do better in my reviews. So thank you so much for being patient with me. If you liked it, tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like about it. If you like my wrestling review, tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't, tell me what you didn't. Leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to your boy, Unknown Emperor. This is me giving you the AEW review. Until next time, I am signing off. Good.